That was your first ever title fight. Who was that you were fighting?
I fought a guy called Dave Douglas.
Dave Douglas, you
Dave
remember
Gypsy
that?
Douglas.
So you remember that fight well?
Oh, vividly. Vividly.
Talk me through it.
I remember them all vividly. And there was only one guy that I wanted to fight.
And who was that?
A wee guy called Parnell Sweet Pea Whittaker. They called him Sweet Pea. 1984 Olympic champion. Terrific fighter. One of the greatest defensive fighters of all time, allegedly.
You were the current British champion.
Going to fight for the European title, which became vacant.
Who were you fighting again?
A guy called Ludovic Proto.
This is before he comes out in the next round?
In the next round, I get up, 10 seconds, you get up and I run right over to the corner, just about 2 punches and it's all over.
You finished him?
And that's the fight over.
The man himself, former champion boxer, Gary Jacobs, welcome to the show.
Thank you, thanks for having me.
No, it's an honour to have you on the show, mate. Like I said, a massive character, multiple champion, a crazy story. You've also got your book with you today, which is titled Fightback. We'll plug that right away at the start of the show, so you can talk me a bit through the book.
Absolutely. Well, it's something, I've had a career, I've almost retired 30 years. I was talking to the gym back there, and it's like, 1995 we fought one of the greatest fighters of all time in Parnell Whittaker and lost out in points to him. So and we're now at this 30 years later, another chapter of my life. So we've been I've been doing the book for a wee while now, but we've now got it. It's now down. It's now available. It's all about the ups, the downs, the trials, the tribulations, and just about life, really.
It's a fascinating book, mate. As I say, I've read through it. It's available on multiple platforms, I'm sure, but the main one is Amazon.
I believe so.
The link will be in the description of this video.
Okay.
But before we go right into this incredible story of yours, if you can speak me through what you've got going on in the now and the present. I know you're a coach now as well.
Well, I'm a coach. I don't really sort of coach. I help some young fighters. I don't really coach fighters anymore, as they say. I do a lot of personal training. I train a lot of individuals that have companies, just sort of companies that I've been friendly with throughout the years, and we train, and I'm turning that into a sort of a business. So there's like Lynn Products, Bruce the Lawyers, to name a few, and just a few other bits and people, and a few other. Some people come in from Spain as well. They fly in from abroad to come and train. And it's just I teach people how to box. I teach people how to fight without getting hurt. We don't do any headshots. We do body sparring, and every time we spar for 12 rounds, 12 3-minute rounds. It's a full boxing workout without actually getting hurt. You will be sore for the first couple of days if you've never tried it before. When you come in, you do it. So the boys that have been training with me have been training with me for a long time. So that's where we're at the moment, and trying to build that business.
Oh, good on you, mate. And like I said, a massive character, and using all of that incredible experience to help other people training up and coming fighters. So good on you for that. We'll now dive right into your story.
Okay.
Right? So it's going to be mad going through this, but I'm excited about it because it's legendary. And I'll now take you back to like your early memories, your first chapter in childhood.
Oh, well, as a wee boy, always fighting at school. I think I was always fighting at school because I was Mum and Dad were quite successful, kept on moving, so I went to Battlefield Primary, I went to Netherley Primary, and every time you went to a new school, as being a boy, you're always getting picked on, and just fighting was like the easiest way out, instead of using which I do now, use your mind and use your mouth. So it was always fighting and always physical with people. So always fighting. Went to, as I said, Battlefield, Netherley Primary School, went to Williamwood Secondary School for 6 months, Mearns Castle Secondary School for 6 months when it opened up. Then we emigrated to Australia when I was like 14 and a bit, and finished my schooling in Australia. And then obviously got in a bit of trouble over there. So it was just as a young boy moving about, and you're always having to prove yourself as a young boy.
What age are you when you're in Australia in the school over there?
14.
And you're saying you get into a bit of bother and fighting?
Yeah, always fighting. Just fighting.
Defending yourself to start with?
I always remember going to Australia, and my folks said to me, we're going to Australia, you need to wear shorts and a short sleeve t-shirt. Now, being a Glasgow boy, I was like, I'm not wearing shorts and a short sleeve t-shirt. There's no chance I'm going to do that. And I used to have this vision of Australia being like out in the Wild West. It was like But I said, I want a motorbike. If we go to Australia, I want a motorbike. So they guaranteed all that. But yes, we went to Australia, went to Randwick, Maroubra and Coogee Beach. But the very first time when we got there, I immediately had a short sleeve t-shirt, short sleeve shirt and shorts on. It was about 80 degrees in the winter. And went to school with shorts and t-shirts on over there.
What age were you when you came back to Scotland?
15. We went there for about a year and a half. Dad came back for a holiday, and within a year and a half, within a week, we were all back home. Why he came back home, I don't know. He just in the office never settled.
Everything happens for a reason, as you know, Gary.
And then my boxing career started.
Well, what age are you then?
I was 15 and a half.
And how did that come about?
It came about, my dad said to me, "Can you fight, son?" I went, "I think I can." He says, "What about boxing?" I went, "No interest in boxing. I'm playing football." And he said to me, "You get 50 quid a fight." So saying that to me at that age, 50 quid a fight, at 15 and a half years old, I can have one a week, get myself 200 quid a month. I was like, so I went, "Where's the gloves?" And this wee guy that lived next door to us, Maurice Lewis, who started me in boxing, who, legendary, is not with us anymore, was with me my whole career. I'll never forget, we went to the boxing, and the very first night I went to the boxing, when they gave me a set of boxing gloves, I was up in Govan, Somerton Road, the swimming baths, and we went up to the boxing club, put the gloves on, and then, because I used to be kind of handy at school. You think you're kind of handy, just being a young boy, fighting and being in trouble, and you're always scrapping. Done a bit of judo as a child, and always grabbing people and wrestling. And when I very first night I went to the boxing club, I then realised I couldn't fight because I got a bit of a learn and a bit of a slacking off some wee guys. I'm like, I better keep my mouth shut from now on. And that was the wake-up call for me at 15 and a half years old, to keep my mouth shut, because you can never judge a book by its cover.
You're right. And so is that you straight into the training then?
That was me. I started. I wasn't really into the training, still messed about. I was 15 and a half years old, spent 3 years as an amateur, only had 12 amateur fights, nothing. So you take your hat off to all these people that go to Olympics, go to Commonwealth Games, and then they get picked up they'll get contracts when they win an Olympic gold medal or just being an Olympian, you'll get a contract. Nothing like that was happening to me. I just have 12 amateur fights.
So 12 amateur fights. So what was the age then?
I was 15 and a half. At 19, I decided to turn professional.
So you were at 19
years old.
That your very first professional fight?
6 2-minute rounds.
Do you remember it well?
John Conlon, Thistle Hotel, Eddie Coatley and Matt Sawyers. I believe they're still about. Promoted that show. They're not promoters anymore, but they promoted that show, and it was at the Thistle Hotel, I believe. And I got £200 for it. I was 15 and a half years old, 1986, 87 or something, 86 I was.
Had good money back then?
Oh, I was a jobbing jeweller. I had to work for 30 or 40 hours a week, and I was getting 35 quid a week.
So how did the fight go?
I won it 6 2-minute rounds. It was points, pretty scrappy. It was just me fumbling about and just being the usual windmill self, and just hands are going. My philosophy was, when I turned pro, and I didn't really train properly as an amateur, my philosophy was, I said to all my pals, right, that's me, I'm done. I'm done going out, I'm done doing. All I'm going to do is eat, sleep, train and fight. And they all laughed. But that's what it got me to. And
exactly.
That's exactly what I done. I ate, I slept, I trained, I fought. Didn't party. Went out later on, went out late at night, but never took drink, never done anything apart from eat, sleeping and training. That's all I done. I just dedicated myself to the sport.
Just consistent.
And I was very lucky with the people I had about me. You've got to tell a wee guy, Maurice Lewis, who started me in boxing, who was with me my whole career, looked after me, picking the right fights, because sometimes you can get brave managers taking fights too soon when people are too good for you. I had him from the start, and for the first 3 years we were in Scotland, promoted. Had my first 16 fights in Scotland, And then a London crew at the time, they came up, I had some meetings with them. You know, it was 3 years, first of all in Glasgow, Scotland. And I can't remember, I had 15 or 16 fights, I think, at the time.
So I know you were professional for 12 year period. So as you're saying, the first 10, 15 fights, how many fights did you have before you fought for the Scottish title?
On my 9th fight, my 10th fight, I fought for the Scottish title.
That was your first ever title fight?
First I went from 6-2s to 8-2s to 10 3-minute rounds.
Who was that you were fighting?
I fought a guy called Dave Douglas.
Dave Douglas, you remember
Gypsy
that?
Douglas.
So you remember that fight well?
Oh, vividly. Vividly.
Talk me through it.
I remember them all vividly. No, it was a great fight. He was from another Scottish, two Scottish, but obviously for the Scottish title. And it was he was a lot more pedigree than I was. I was just a sort of young guy coming through, and I had in the first fight I had him down I think 3 times the fight, and I lost the decision. So it was a little bit
controversial.
Dubious. Yeah, but just a bit controversial. So we had the second fight. I believe I won the first fight. And the second fight, in all honesty, and I'll be honest as I'm always honest, and it's all in the book. You buy the book, you find it's all in the book. Everything's in there. So in the second fight, I was a little. I found it. I had trouble making the weight. Made the weight a little bit hard. Done something didn't do it properly that time, and the second fight was a little bit. I got the decision, but it ended up. It was the right decision. It was 1-0. And then after that, the London boys came for me. It was me. I was Scottish champion after 10 fights. And then we moved to London after that.
I remember you speaking about that. So did you change coaches then, or how did that?
Yes, I was training with John McDermott at the time, great coach out in Blantyre Minors. Begged him to come with me, wouldn't budge. As you're just a young boy, you think you're going to stay with it. So, and then I went to London. Ended up training with Bobby Neal, signed with Mike Barrett, trained in Carnaby Street. First time I went to London, it was like the big lights and the big streets. And
what age are you at this point?
Oh, I was 23, I think. 22, 23.
So it was like a new world for you?
Oh, yeah. It's the start of the new world, because there's lots more. There's Las Vegas, there's Madison Square Garden, there's New York, there's Gleason's, there's the Catskill Mountain, there's all that. And it's all, all these things, and it's just different things happening in your life. But that was the first big chapter. I went down to London, you're in Wardour Street, you're in like this guy's offices, and it's like pretty amazing, to be honest, right? Just a wee boy from Glasgow.
But you're just
a wee boy from Glasgow. You're
the Scottish champion. You're the star of the show. And
but you're still a wee boy. You walk into this place, and you're like, where your depth?
But then you're doing that, and that's when your career's starting to evolve.
Yeah.
To other levels. So
I didn't realise that at the time.
No, because as you said, you're only 23.
Yeah.
So where did your career go for there then? How many more fights until your next title fight?
Oh, it was about 2 or 3, I think I was. I then fought for the Commonwealth title against the guy Wolf Jensen at the Kelvin Hall.
How did that? Is that in London?
No, that was the Kelvin Hall.
Oh, the Kelvin Hall, sorry.
So we won that. We trained in London, lived in London. We still fought in Glasgow sometimes.
Right, okay.
And we won that. So I was now Scottish champion, Commonwealth champion.
So you did 2 belts.
2 belts.
Still only about 23, 24?
22, 23. Because then the big time came. It was like the next thing I know, I'm up in the Catskill Mountains, training in the Concord Resort Hotel. I'm going to fight in Madison Square Garden.
So this is you, and then you're now moving overseas into the American scene.
In fact, first of all, before we got to Madison Square Garden, I think we fought in Las Vegas.
Did you fight in Vegas first?
I went and fought in Caesars Palace, Las Vegas, and we went and fought for the WBC International World Title. I think it was one of those international titles. They just started coming out, which is great. Which is great for all the fighters. When there was one title, there was like one person earning some money. All these other titles are great for all the kids and all the people that are coming through. They're all meaningful. But they're meaningful, and they give you a chance to fight for the bigger things. So it was an opportunity. I went to Las Vegas.
As I say, a young guy at that age,
23 years old.
That must have been
walking about the strip in Las Vegas. You're landing in Las Vegas. You're walking about the strip, Caesars Palace, and then you see your name in lights.
It's incredible.
So I mean, it's like,
So, how did you manage to remain professional, or did you?
oh no, absolutely. I was only there for one thing. The one thing that got me there was the fighting.
That's what I think. That's what I'm saying. But were you ever tempted, distracted with other things?
No.
You said eat, sleep,
Train, fight, get paid,
fight,
and do it. And then
and you still stuck to that.
100%.
And that's
13 years, my whole career.
And that's how you became so successful.
My whole career. Not once did I deviate. The thing is, still went out late at nights, went and partied, but didn't drink, didn't do anything. I drank water. The thing I drink now, and when people crack out at me, is I drink Red Bull. And they're telling me that's a bad drug. And that's some of my pals. So they're like, get off that stuff. So I drink water.
No, good on you. So how did that fight go in Vegas?
In Vegas, I won the WBC International World title against a guy called Javier Suazo, which I remember he just fought Marlon Starling, I think, for the world title. They thought I was going to get beat. And we won that over 10 rounds, so I was the WBC International World Champion.
That's madness. So where did you go from there then? Did you get back home to London?
Back to London.
Right, and
back to Glasgow.
So how are you feeling at that point? You must be feeling
top of the world,
like a superstar.
You're living in Shawland, still with your mum and dad.
Right.
And you've just been top of the bill in Vegas. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I mean.
It's bizarre.
When I looked at the book, I'm saying, who is this guy? You know, because I never knew much about the story.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, I'd heard of you and stuff like that, but it's fascinating. As you said, a wee guy from Scotland.
A wee guy from Glasgow, a wee guy from Shawlands.
Can do all this.
Running around Queen's Park. The next fight after that is we end up in Madison Square Garden in the Felt Forum. There was a fight due to happen. It's an interesting story, that one, because I don't even know if I think it's in the book. It's an interesting story. But I was there to fight on the Thursday. I think it might have been the book. I was there to fight on the Thursday in Madison Square Garden. And there was a world title fight on the Sunday, and something happened, and they had to fill the show. So there was a Scottish boy in town, and he was fighting on Thursday night. So they asked me if I wanted to stay on till the Sunday. It was NBC television. It would escalate me into the big time boxing. By God, it's like BBC here.
Right.
So, the first question you ask is, you're a young boy. I was getting a lot of money. Anyway, to fight. And the first question I asked was, how much? It wasn't who, it wasn't anything, it was just, how much are we getting?
Much? Where are you getting?
I'm getting a lot of money.
You're not going to tell me a figure?
Getting a lot. It was very, you could buy a house.
This is in Madison Square Garden, this?
Yeah, you could buy a house outright back then.
That's incredible, isn't it?
But anyway, it wasn't about that. So it was, we ended up fighting a guy called Buddy McGirt, who I still talk to, and he's now a top trainer. And Buddy McGirt was 2-time world champion, junior welterweight world champion. Incredible fighter. I'm like, the manager at the time brought me up some videos. I went, no interest in videos. I was never interested in looking to see how people fought. I didn't care. It wasn't my thing. My thing was I was going to do what I was going to do, and you had to take care of me. I don't care what you're going to do. I don't care how you fight. I'm not interested in how you fight. I was doing my thing. Albeit, that's for the management to decide, because styles make fights, and certain fighters will beat you if you do. But that's kind of sort of maybe stupid in my behalf, maybe not. But that was just my mental
I can see
attitude.
it's a great way of doing things, because I always say that it's like you versus you. There is no opponent.
No, absolutely.
There's no comparison. So when you have that mindset,
I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've done.
Exactly.
You're going to have to deal with me. I don't care what you're going to do. I'm not worrying about you. I'm training for me. I train, I eat, sleep and train for me, not for you. So the thing is, it's not being big-headed. It's just, that's why we've got managers, and managers guide the fighters. And there's some great managers out there.
but that's exactly it. As you said, maybe the management team will see it different. They think, oh no, we need to look at his style. But obviously that'll
come on later in the show. When
that worked for you, but because you had, correct me if I'm wrong, 43 professional wins. Is that right?
It's 46, I think it was.
46, there you go. I knew you'd need to correct me.
I had 53 fights.
That's right, sorry, wins. 46 wins. And you're getting in with that attitude, right? But take me into the Madison Square Garden fight then. What year is that?
1988.
Right.
I'm 23 years old. Again, same year as Vegas. Fight. It was one of those fights, my belief, and I'm sure all the other fighters out there, and any of the fighters that are training to be fighters, you have the belief that you can't be beaten. Doesn't matter who you are, you will get beat. There's different styles that will beat you. Obviously, you know, there's certain styles that you'll not be able to take care of. So the thing is, that's why, as I said, why we have management. But I thought I was invincible. We all think we're invincible, don't we?
Of course
we
do.
Invincible. If you don't think you're invincible, what are you in the game for?
Exactly.
What are you doing anything for in life? And that includes everybody. Always do your best. So yeah, no, we took the fight. I went from getting X amount of money for the Madison Square Garden fight. That's because the Madison Square Garden fight came. I was meant to fight on a Thursday, and something happened. There's a big NBC television show on the Sunday.
They changed it.
And they offered me some money. Okay, we're staying there. And I had to ask him because a lot of people flew out there for me. There was a lot of people that spent a lot of hard-earned money. Lots of people I didn't even know that were there. That came and supported me, which was amazing. And so I had to tell everybody, like, by the way, it's all right if there's you know, because everyone's booked their flight. All these people, you know, a whole plane load of people have booked their flights to go home on the Friday. So they're now going to have to stay from the Friday, stay another 3 days and go home on the Monday. So you're asking a lot of people to do a lot of things. So I was like, you know, I just didn't think about me. I was thinking about them. I'm like, how are you? Yeah, Gary, just fight. We're all staying. I think they wanted another 3 days holiday anyway. So
who doesn't want another 3 days in New York?
Absolutely.
So what happened in the fight then?
That was a lesson, a hard lesson.
Right.
No, it wasn't a hard lesson. It was just, you know, done my best. I was ready. Wasn't getting beat. He was just too good for me.
You go the distance?
He was the only guy that beat me. I lost 5 times, 6 times out of 53. And he was the only guy at that time that beat me that was just too good for me. I went the distance. I went 10 rounds. He had to fight to beat me. It wasn't a given. It wasn't a shoot in for him. It was like, it was a proper fight, and I knew I was in a fight as well. But it's like he had to fight to beat me. There was no, it was like, you know, because I was coming to get you. I was just like, you wouldn't keep me out. You went. It was like, if I wanted to fight, I want to get you in a telephone box and let's fight. We don't need to fight in a big ring. Let's just fight in a telephone box. But Buddy McGutt, great fighter, great man, legendary trainer now, and beat me on points.
There you go, but at least you went the distance, as you said. How do you think, if you'd have had a different approach, think you'd have won that fight?
Absolutely no chance.
No?
No. Different approach, different training.
When they mattered?
Different, just too good for me at the time. Too experienced.
So see when you've came away from that then?
Yes.
With the defeat,
yeah.
Obviously over the distance. Where did you then go from there? Did you just back home?
Back
a bit of a downer?
It was a bit of a downer.
Because you're not used to getting beat?
No. Completely gutted.
Would you say you learn a lot from defeats as well? But
you learn more.
Right.
We'll learn more out of defeat than we do of winning.
What did you learn from that fight?
We just learn more about ourselves, about everything, about how we can handle things. It's like you're saying in your board, if you can't control what's happening about you, it's how you respond to things. So you have to control yourself. How you deal with defeat and how you get back into it. But then there's worse to come, and right after that we take a fight against the Canadian champion to defend my Commonwealth title. Right after the Buddy McGutt fight.
So you've took another title fight right away?
No, I'm defending my title. I'm defending my Commonwealth title against a guy called Donovan Bushy, who's the Canadian champion. And me just dismissing him to say, I was ready for the fight, prepared for the fight and everything. I get beat again.
You're joking? Back to back?
Back-to-back losses. Devastating. Lost my title, went to New York, being Billy Big Guy, and they're like, I think I'm the man. I've just had back-to-back losses and the press have written you off. And I've never walked away thinking I'm like callous or anything. It's not my, you know, because the boxing I think boxing should be brought back into schools. I think all kids should do it. It teaches you manners, it teaches you respect, it teaches you discipline, it teaches you everything, you know, and it teaches you how to treat other people. But here's me, back-to-back losses, Mr. Champion, first minute in Madison Square Garden, then you've been beaten by the most Civic Centre. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, career's coming to an end.
What age are you then at this point?
23, 24.
Just shows you with the highs and the lows.
Yes.
You know, but as you said, you learn more from the losses.
Yeah.
And those feelings.
Yeah.
So where did you go from there? What was your next fight?
right after that, what did we do after that? I think we changed management. After that.
Did you ever change your approach then about checking out the other fighter after those defeats?
No, I wasn't interested.
Right.
Because that was my whole point of it. The bottom line is, if you were going to think like that, because if you show a fighter or a man or a woman, whoever's fighting, and show them their opponent, I show you something. You're going to tell me you don't want to fight him because he's too good for you. He's got a style that I don't like. You're not going to say that. It doesn't matter what he's got. It doesn't matter what he brings to the table. That's the money, and that's where we're fighting. The fight's on.
You said to me, anyone, anywhere,
anytime.
That was the attitude.
That's it. Absolutely. It was down to your management to control that and tell you when you were fighting, and tell you when to get ready, or ask you, or who, whatever.
You had that many high-profile fights, and you know that many people. Like even when we went for tea there before we came to the studio, everybody stopped me on it, getting. I'm saying, come on, fuck man, he knows everybody. And
there was no internet back in those days.
Exactly.
And no YouTube, and no Instagram, and no Facebook.
And it was the same then. Everybody stopped me in the street and stuff like that. So I know there's that many highlights in this career, right? All these high profile fights and stuff like that. But you also fought for the British title.
I went on and changed I went and fought for the British title.
What weight was that?
Welterweight. And 3 stone ago.
And where was that fight?
That fight was I was in the exhibition centre, I believe.
And who were you fighting?
A guy called Del Bryan. I had fought him for the second time. I'd beat Del Bryan the first time, and then he'd won the British title, so I'd done a U-turn and came back because I'd just lost both my titles. And
so you're looking for another title?
I'm looking for a title, so being in Britain, obviously he's the British champion.
Makes sense.
It makes sense to make that fight, and I just got the nod over Del again for the second time, so which was quite good. You know, good fighter, great fighter. Beat a guy who I wouldn't fight in Kirtland Lang, who beat Roberto Duran.
Did he?
Yeah, he was a great fighter. So I won that fight. Then after that we went to go and fight we become number 1 in Europe, being the British champion. So
this is a European fight
European title fight.
This is the first one, because I know you fought for it twice.
Yeah, we become number 1 in Europe, and we fight a guy called Ludovic Proto. And what they do is there's a big show on in Paris or France. They put on a big show once a year. There's like 3 world title fights, a European title fight, and a local title. So there's like 5 championship fights on. It's a huge show they put on. So
you were the current British champion?
Going to fight for the European title, which became vacant.
Who were you fighting again?
A guy called Ludovic Proto had 27 fights, 27 wins, or 26 fights, 26 wins, and something like 22 knockouts. Local star. And
so the very first fight then, right?
So we go to fight him. I don't care if he's got 26 wins or 99 wins. That attitude.
He's fighting you?
No, he's fighting me. I'm number 1 in Europe. He's number 2. We've got to fight each other. So yeah, when you're the champ or you're not the champ, or there's two guys fighting for it, you can't pick and choose. So we fight for it, and I won that fight. I won it out of the park. I went out of the park that badly with all those, because there's like 3 sets of governing bodies there. There's like WBC, IBF, so there's lots of officials from all over the world, and the manager Mickey Duff at the time was, they gave him the decision. After 12 rounds, they gave him the decision. Devastated I was. Just walked out of the ring, didn't even wait, just walked straight out of the ring, straight to my dressing room. But by the time I got back to my dressing room, and Mickey came back to the dressing room, because I think they were a little bit embarrassed about it, they said there was an automatic rematch, he has to fight me again. So 3 months later, we go back.
See him again in a title fight right away?
Yeah, it was all title fights.
It's incredible.
It's just all 12 rounders.
It's some of the Rocky films.
It was just straight, we go back.
You're back right in it, fighting him, and you believe that you won the first fight.
I won the first fight.
And now it's
3 months later, I'm back. We weigh in at the scales, and I just look at him. I knew I'd won it then.
What was the weights?
10 stone 7, welterweight. Just because you got to me in the day before. Lots of these things on this book, by the way. It's a very good book.
Oh, it's amazing, mate. That's what I'm saying. It's good to sit and talk, obviously, with the man himself.
So we go back, and it starts off, and I've got him down. I've got him cut in the first round. I've got him cut in the second round. It's like, and the fight's going. We're now into round 6. We go back to after that. Round 7 comes up.
He's 27-0 at this point.
So yeah, but forget it. I'm not interested in he's 27. He's 27 and cheated one, especially me.
So yeah, what round did you say there? Before
So
I
I think
interrupted?
round 7 or round 8. Round 7 he comes back. In fact, round 8, I think I throw a 27 punch without reply combination at the end of it. And I flop onto the seat in the corner, and Mickey Duff says, by the way, son, they ain't going to stop this fight. And I'm like, I'm knackered. I'm not thinking about him.
This is before he comes out in the next round.
In the next round, I get up,
Seen it?
10 seconds, you get up and I run right over to the corner, just about 2 punches and it's all over.
You finished him?
And that's the fight over.
So
when you're thinking about, when you go back to the corner, you're not thinking about the other guy, you're just thinking about how you feel. So...
it's an incredible footage.
Yes.
And that fight especially, it'll flag up on the screen as we're
Most
talking
of the
now.
fights, somebody told me the other day, is quite a unique thing when they were reading the book after every fight they were speaking about, they went and watched the fight, because all my other fights are on YouTube, which is quite unusual. I didn't even think about that, because there was no Facebook, Instagram when I was about
Nothing like that then.
I think Colour TV just came in.
Right. Many channels did you have there?
Four.
There you go. But it's an amazing story, and as I said, we've not even got to some of the other stuff yet. But so you're the champ then. You
They're
then
the champ.
become, is it double champ? What are you then? You're
No, I'm just
British champion, European
British
champion.
and European champion.
Right, and what age are you at this point? 25?
25, 26, 27 maybe.
So you're right at the peak and the heights of your career. But before that, you'd lost two back to back.
losses. Then I changed management, changed everything, changed a few bits and pieces around.
Are you still based in London at this point?
Yeah, still back and forward.
And then, so what happens after that then? So you're the king then, and how are you conducting yourself? Are you still keeping that professional mindset?
100%.
Just keeping it going.
100%. Eat, sleep, train, fight. Eat, sleep, train, fight.
So it never got a
And
bit.
I dare say most professional fighters or athletes will think that way. Anyone that's at the top, anyone that's there, anyone that's making it, anyone that's made it, no different from anybody else. That's how you get there. There is no cheap way. There is no easy way. There is no other way to do it. Anyone that has done it, anyone that's doing it, I'm just speaking about my own personal journey. I believe that all their journeys are the same for them to get there. You look at any of the great fighters, any of the great athletes, they don't do it any different. All they do is they do what they do. And there's nobody, and if you're doing stuff that people are not doing, it's like, that's what you've got to be doing. You've got to be doing people's stuff that people are not doing.
It's that, as I said, you've got that warrior spirit, and I don't think you ever lose that.
Well, I think it's like everything, isn't it? You win everything, you lose everything.
It's built into you.
It's called Fightback.
Exactly, and you always have this positive attitude about you, and it's great to see. So you're at the top of your game.
Yeah.
And before we go further on in the story, because I know you also fought for the world title in Atlantic City. We'll get
1995.
We'll get into that story in a minute. But when you won that European title, and before you fought for the world title, what was your career like at that point?
It was pretty good.
You're at the top.
Yeah, you're flying high. You're flying high. Everything's A-star, 5-star. You're just still doing the same thing.
Did you have a few more fights before the world title then, after that European victory?
I think I did. I think I had 4 European title fights. I defended it 3 times.
Did you?
Yeah. And then I gave it up.
It's incredible.
So that's I'm undefeated British champion, I'm undefeated European champion. I gave them both up.
I
moved on. I was like, some people say that I should have taken another British title fight because I didn't win a Lonsdale belt outright, which is probably one of the finest belts you can have, to be honest. But I gave that up to go on to European level, and then it was like at European level, I had 4 European title fights, defences, or 3 defences, 5 European title fights.
So you'd won 4, but really you'd won 5, but but you defended it every time and then gave it up.
Yeah, and then I became number 1 in the WBC, and there was only one guy that I wanted to fight.
And who was that?
A wee guy called Parnell, Sweet Pea, they called him Sweet Pea, 1984 Olympic champion. Evander Holyfield, there was a whole crew of them, Meldrick Taylor, there was a whole crew of them Olympians that turned pro. I mean, terrific fighter. One of the greatest defensive fighters of all time, allegedly. And goes down as Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather copied his style. You know, Floyd is where he is today. Superb fighter, great fighter. And he copied because I think he beat Floyd's dad, Roger.
I remember you telling me that story.
Yeah.
So do you think that's where he's developed that skill set then? So he was quite like Floyd, very defensive.
No, Floyd was like him.
Well, sorry. That's
Whittaker was the first. And if anybody knows boxing, they know about Sweet Pea. One of the he's a living legend. He's now passed away. He's not with us anymore. But one of the all-time greats, and it goes down as one of the all-time greatest defensive fighters of all time. So I mean, I'm number one in the WBC. Mickey Duff is asking me to fight somebody else. I went, I'm not interested in fighting anybody else. I went, he's the best. I want to fight him.
How long did it take to get it set up?
But 9 months, 6, 8, 9 months. When you're number one, when you're number one, if you're the champion, you have to fight the number one contender every 9 months. You can have as many other fights in between that as you like. Whether you're the British champion, you've got a grace time, but you have to fight the number one contender. European champion, you have to fight the number one contender.
So do you remember where you were when you got the news that the fight was on?
Not really.
No.
I just knew it was going to happen.
You just knew it?
I just knew it was going to happen. When and where and what and how and what we're going to have it. Mickey was talking about having it in Glasgow at the Kelvin Hall, but you know, you need fortunes to bring something like that over. He's not travelling out of America.
So he's got it all set up for Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Obviously the biggest fight of your career.
Yeah.
World title fight.
1995, Atlantic City Convention Centre.
I know some people that actually travelled over back then to watch you.
It was quite a lot. It was a big, huge travelling club. I believe that they drank the plane dry.
Well, I've heard the stories.
Yes.
So you're there. How long are you in Atlantic City for?
I was there for about 3 weeks. I was up in the Concord Resort in the Catskill Mountains training up there. So I was there about 3 weeks before it. And I just travelled down to Atlantic City. It's like Glasgow, Carlisle, 2 hours away from 2.5, 3 hours away from Atlantic City. So we just travelled in about 3 or 4 days before.
So but the build up to the fight?
Yes.
Did you, I know your style is crazy, right? Because it's your mindset. But did you change anything, or did you have a game plan?
No.
Straight into your usual?
No, I'm going to go after him. I'm going to chase you down. I'm just going to, You know, I'm a great believer in if you want to be the best, fight the best. And if you want to win anything, you have to go and take it. You know, it's like, it's all right being a defensive fighter and protecting what you have, if you have something to protect. But if you don't have anything, you've got to go and get it first. You have to go and take it off him. You have to go and take it off the champion.
So talk me through the fight then when it started, because there's different opinions on the outcome of this fight and what it should have been.
Well, so what? It is what it is, and it was what it was. I just chased him for 12 rounds. After 6 rounds, I don't reckon I've lost a round. But that's going to be in my head anyway. The thing is, he's doing the defensive stuff and I'm chasing him all over the place in the 10th round I've got him down for a count. And in the 12th round, I get a public warning with 20 seconds to go get a point taken off me. And I'm like, what was that for? There's 20 seconds to go in a world title fight against a legend. And I'm getting points taken off me. And then he hit me right in the chin and went down. And then he got up. And went down and he got up. So he had me down twice.
Right at the end of the fight, he got you.
Right, oh yeah, but I mean, my head went down. As soon as he lifted up and took a point off me, with the judges, it was like, oh man, I've not won this. He's come over, hit me with my right hand, and I went in the deck. I've got up and the bells went, so...
That was right at the very end of the fight?
Very end of the fight. He never knocked me out. The ball is, I finished on my feet after 12 rounds as well. So,
obviously before the final scores came out, was it tight? Did they say the points?
I thought it was tight. The bottom line is, in points, didn't win a round. I didn't even win a round when I had him down.
You're joking?
Yeah, I've got the judges' scorecards.
It's in
so
America,
I'd say
innit?
to all the people, watch the Parnell Whittaker fight. I may have lost the fight. Yes, he may still have been too good because I'm going to be biased and saying that I've won the fight. But watch the fight and look at it being a neutral and just try and score it.
I'm going to watch it tonight, actually. And then
Just watch it. Well, just
give him
forget the commentary. Commentary's biased because it's
I'll put it
American.
on silent, and I'll watch it, and we'll see. I'll give it my own score, and I'll
There's
get back
a lot
to
of
you.
people there that you're not going to beat him. People are looking at this icon of a fighter, which he is. Do you know what I mean? There's no doubt about it. He's like an all-time great, and it's when you go and watch an all-time great, you're not really looking at the opposition. You're looking at him. I don't care what he's doing. I'm just watching him.
They say he was a pound for pound best in the world of all time, and he's in that category.
Well, at that time he was.
At that time, it's incredible. And you're going the distance for him.
Yeah.
And in your mind, you're thinking, "I've won the first 6 rounds."
Yeah, absolutely.
So obviously, you've not had your hand raised.
Yeah.
But you've fought all the fights, and you've all the way to that world title fight. Where did you go from there?
Devastating. Came back, had 3 fights.
Just near the end of the career.
Yeah,
then?
3 more fights, then that was me done.
You were finished after that.
That was me done.
What was your last fight? You remember?
A guy, Russian boy,
Right.
chucked it in the 7th round.
He did.
I did.
You did.
I did. Never chucked it. I chucked the fight in the 7th round and went through 12. It was another title fight, obviously, of course.
Right.
And in my head, I was done.
That was finished then.
It was done. I just didn't want to be there.
That's madness, isn't it? As you said, it's that 12-year window
Yeah.
then coming to a close.
Yeah, that was it, and that was the career over.
And that's a hard one to take, that, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
so, as you also said, it's like so many highs, so many lows.
Yeah.
And that's you then getting into that. So
That's it. Done.
the mind starts to
Yeah.
play games on you. So your last fight, where did your whole life start to go in what direction?
It was okay for the first wee while, then decided I wanted to open a gym, and things started to crumble after that. It was just I got some wrong people involved, got involved with some just not the right people to get involved with. Spent a lot of money in a gym, put lots of guarantees down. Don't put any. I never put your house down as a guarantee for anything. And lost a lot of money. Gym happened for 2 or 3 years. In 1997 I retired. By 2001 I was out the gym business. I lost my house. Lost everything, actually, to be honest. Bit of a disaster.
That's what I mean. People don't see these things. So you've had that such a
Bit of a disaster.
lucrative career.
Yeah, found a drug. Tried a drug for a year and disappeared for a year.
What drug was that?
The drug called cocaine. Never ever touched that. Tried that. Got involved with that. Never touched that again. There's no good that comes out of that. That made everything disappear for me. It's in the book.
I know you had, was there alcohol as well involved in it? More cocaine?
Yeah, probably more of that. It just made you disappear off the rails. Just pathetic, lunatic, just crazy thing to do.
No, I can relate to that.
Crazy thing to
there's
do.
also-
Probably the worst time of my life.
Also an addict, and we're doing it because we're just trying to block out the pain.
Basically, it takes the pain away for a couple of hours, and then you wake up and you're like,
There's more pain.
You're back. What have I just done for the last? So we'll just bleat over that, and that's all I'm going to say that about that on here, because it's a part of my life that is like people know about it, people have stuck by me, and it's like I'm not going to shy away from it because it's something I've done.
But again, you learn for that as
You
well.
have to be honest about it. You have to be honest and open with yourself and life. You have to be honest and open with yourself. You start lying about things that I didn't. You're only lying to yourself.
Exactly.
So you need to be honest and open, then you can move on. You just put it behind you, you put it back, and you can move on from it.
Oh, good on you.
So
And
we've
I know a
moved
lot
on.
of your family stuck by you, even though through those hard times.
Yeah.
Did you, if you don't mind me asking, did you have trouble with your mental health? Obviously, with the addiction side of it, like maybe being suicidal or feeling like...
Yeah, a little bit like that. It's just mental. Mental
Mental.
health, just mental. Mental health, this new buzzword, mental health, is coming. It's like, just mental. You think crazy things, you want to do crazy things. And it's just again, once again, it's all in the book.
Such a great read, mate. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people get so much from it. They'll be sitting listening to you telling the story, and the first thing you want to do is look at that book and buy it. But
Yeah.
It's a mad story, mate, because as a fight back, it's not just about being in the ring. That's the beauty of the full story. It's like, you did have such a amazing career, but with the highs come the lows.
Absolutely.
And the fight back, not just about fighting back in the ring and getting all those title fights.
About life.
Fighting back about life, mate. And
I'm lucky enough, you, me, and everybody out there, I'm lucky enough to be able to put my story into words and bring a book out of it. I don't think I'm any different from anybody else. I think all of us have trials and tribulations that we have to get through, but it might help somebody, and if it helps one person, great.
It's amazing, mate.
Great, you know what I mean? So, because you know, some people are fortunate enough. It's taken me 10 years to put this book together, by the way. So it's not came together overnight. Colin and I have been working on it for a very long time.
No, it's well put together, mate. It's a great finished copy there.
Thank God he's a writer and I'm not.
That's it. No, because you can't do everything yourself.
No, absolutely.
So you started to get your life back together.
Yeah.
And getting back into the training.
Yeah.
Family life, your kids, all the rest of it.
Kids are all good. 2 of my kids are in Manchester, one's in Glasgow. And yeah, just building another business, just building another personal training business. Started with that again, over the last year or so, and just teaching people how to box safely. And we do lots of sparring. It's all body sparring, and it's a few classes going and a few people that I personally train as well. And it's life's good. Good
also to do a bit of sparring with you.
Yes,
remember, as you said, no headshots anyway in your gym.
Absolutely.
Mind my teeth for the next steps.
Anyway, don't worry about that.
That's good. So I look forward to that. No, boxing with a legend.
Well, meanwhile, that you've got me here before I could get you there.
Exactly.
And we've been speaking for this for about a month or two, and twice you've cancelled. I don't cancel. I don't cancel it.
No, but there's a story behind that. You know, but
there's always a story. As I say to everybody, there's always a story. Never cancel. Always show up. Always turn up. Face your demons and get things done.
Exactly. And that will get done. So, I've got loads of questions for you, right? But I'll try and keep them related to the story. For you, who would you say was your hardest fight or the hardest opponent that you came across?
Oh, the hardest opponent, the hardest fight. I think the hardest opponent's yourself. I just think it's like, you know, every fight's hard. Every single fight is hard. Every time you get in that ring, it's hard. You know, it's just you against another man. You have to believe in yourself. So the fight is always against you. You don't think about the other person. I'm not thinking about he's hard. There was a few guys that were really tough. Buddy McGirt was a tough fight. Not hard, tough, tricky. Did he hurt me? No. Won the fight. Parnell Whittaker beat me, won me. Ludovic Proto, I avenged that. You know, so there's all fights. Even the ones, listen, there's always pain. There's always agony. And with every fight that you fight, win or lose, there's pain. No matter what. You can win some fights. I think it's like the Rocky story. I think Rocky and Apollo Creed. I think it's a Rocky 1 or Rocky 2. There ain't going to be no rematch. And the two of them are in the hospital and they're in beds next to each other and they're both smashed to pieces. And I don't even know which one. You know what I mean? It's like, that's what it's like. That's what it's like. They're all hard.
So you're looking back at your career?
Yeah.
Is there anything you would have changed?
Nothing, not one thing.
Not one thing?
Not one thing. It is what it is. I've done the best I could. I prepared the best I could for every single fight. I didn't cheat in any fight. I didn't do anything in any fight. Even when I wasn't training, even when I wasn't in. Do you know what I find funny? Nowadays, in 2025, 2020, they're all using this buzzword. I'm going into camp. I've got training camp. I don't think I was ever out of camp. I think for 12 years I was in training camp permanently. And I say that as all the fighters and all the good fighters of today, they're all in training camp. There's this camp thing. The camp thing means a 6-week preparation for a fight, but they're all training.
I think that's because you've got that mindset. That's how you became so successful. But going back in the story, because there's a part in there, I know there's loads of stories there, right, Gary? But we need to be careful the ones we do tell.
Okay.
You met loads of celebrities, loads of like famous people, but there's one it stands out in your book. You're on, it's like a motorbike trip with Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor.
How did that come about?
Channel 4, Nations and Regions, wanted to put that together. Ewan and I ended up travelling up, it was in Glencoe, I think it was. And there was another fella that we met as well on that. That was a good wee trip, actually. That was a great wee trip. It was just riding up the bad.
Because that photograph stood out in your book. So I could see Ewan McGregor on the motorbike,
yeah,
and you standing behind him.
Yeah, I was on top of the bike.
You were on top.
I was like, you're going nowhere. Going to get us in the movies.
What was he like as a guy, Ewan McGregor?
Great guy. Like all of us, just great guy. Just getting on with it. Just good at what he done. Charming, hospitable, lovely.
Is there any other stories that are not in the book and that we have not spoke about that you would like to tell? If they're comical or anything that, or get it off your chest.
No,
well, we're here, Gary.
Not really.
I don't want to put you in the spot too much.
Not really any other stories. Lennox Lewis shared the bill with me, top billing in 1988 at the Royal Albert Hall. He had his first fight and goes down as one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, I think, today. He fought a guy called Al Malcolm. I think I was main event, or joint main events. He was just signed by wee Kelly Maloney. It was Frank Maloney back then at that time.
He was on, you were on the main card?
Yeah, I was main event.
Main event, sorry.
Well, joint main event, probably. He just won the Olympic gold medal.
And Lennox Lewis was on the undercard?
Lennox on the undercard or joint main event. And we were both top of the bill. So I was defending a title when Lennox Lewis was there. Chris Eubanks in my book a lot. Chris Eubanks Senior. Like
I said, there's that many stories. But before we send out a final message, right, we're going to promote the book again. As I said, Fightback, the autobiography of Gary Jacobs, the legendary boxer.
There.
It's all there. It's well put together. You're looking.
I don't know who that guy is.
You're looking sharp in that, Gary. But it's available, like I said, on Amazon. The link will be in the description.
Yes.
And it's such a fascinating story, mate. But before we finish up in this episode, if there's another message you could send out to the audience watching, now is the time.
Go and get the book. It's an interesting story.
Certainly is.
And I think the thing is when are we going to get you back in the ring, Jim? We need to get you. We need to keep up your side of the bargain. You've kept up your side of the bargain by helping me promote my book, and thank you very much. And whoever buys it, thank you. But now you need to keep up your side of the bargain.
I'll be there.
I need you in the gym.
I'll be there training with you. Not a problem. Okay. And also, if there's any message you could send out to young up and coming fighters who are looking to try and get a flourishing career, like I said.
I think, yeah, you know, yes. What's the hardest thing in the world to do?
For me?
For anybody. For anyone. What's the hardest thing in the world to do? And especially to all you young fighters and young kids out there. And when as I said, I went and done my thing and I was eat, sleep, train and fight. The bottom line is that's the way to do anything and to become any good at anything. That's what you have to do. Give it your all. If you don't give it your all, if you give it 90%, you're only going to get 90% there. If you give it 100%, you might get there. But if you don't, you feel not 100%. The hardest thing in the world to do is to say no. When all your pals are going out, when all your pals are going out drinking and partying and doing whatever, just say no. People are doing drink, people are doing drugs, people are doing X, Y, and Z. Just say no. It's the hardest thing in the world to do. So if you can say no, you're in control of you and you're in control of your destiny. So it's all about being in control of everything that you do.
Great message, mate. Like I said, it's been legendary just sitting with you. I feel honoured to go through the story with you. You've signed the book, you've wrote my name on it. It's again a great privilege, and I'll continue to promote it, mate, and I wish you well for the future with your business and training the young guys. So good on you, mate. Put it there. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Gary boy, right?
That was all mine.
I'll see you very soon, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.